I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. And today we're going to do a reading all about your inner child. Like, is there messages from your inner child that want to come through, or messages that can help your inner child? So we'll just dive right into it, okay? All right, please and thank you, Spirit. Do you have messages for the collective's inner child during this time? Please and thank you. Okay, so what came out so far is the Nine of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Cups. You know what? This is really hitting me as like your inner child is very proud of you. You've built up abundance for yourself, security, independence. You've had an awakening that has changed your perspective of the world. Bottom of the deck being the Seven of Cups. What am I getting from that? Okay, so I'm actually getting with the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck that maybe you don't see it clearly, but your inner child does. Like the accomplishments that you have done throughout your lifetime, your inner child is watching that and is very proud of you. But I feel like maybe you don't see it. You don't see that change, that growth. Yeah, let's see what else comes out. Please and thank you, Spirit. Any other inner child messages? Please and thank you. Ooh, that's a little too many. Just like a couple cards. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then we got the Six of Swords, Ten of Swords, Three of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck now is the Four of Swords. Okay. So I'm seeing that you moved out of a time of darkness into a time of lightness. This could be mental health wise, this would be within your physical reality, but you've changed things for yourself, I feel like. And maybe, yeah, it feels like your inner child is like trying to like tell you like how much you've accomplished, like how proud they are of you. Ten of Swords, you've experienced a lot of pain in this lifetime. Yeah, a lot of people have betrayed you. A lot of people have tried to make you feel lesser than. And I feel like this is like your inner child saying that it was never you. It was never you that was the problem. Yeah. Definitely external, like messages, actions from other people, all of those broke you down throughout your lifetime. And you had to rebuild yourself up from that point. And your inner child sees that and loves that about you. Three of Wands. You've taken action when you've needed to. When you felt that calling to take action, you have. Another reason why your inner child is so proud of you. With the Eight of Pentacles, you're a hard worker. You've been working so hard on your passion projects, on the things that, well, first off, your responsibilities. You're very responsible, for sure. You've been working on your responsibilities, but also the things that feed your heart, feed your soul, feed that inner child as well. And they see you as a very creative person as well. With the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck, honestly, I'm getting the message with that you probably need to rest right now, and you're not allowing yourself to rest, and your inner child might be kind of trying to communicate that to you. Like, hey, can we take a nap? You know? Also, there is something here about like when you rest, you receive messages from the divine. You may have like a very powerful intuition or some sort of psychic ability that maybe you need to trust in more. And I feel like you can heighten that by taking care of yourself, by resting and taking care of yourself, practicing self-care in the ways that you need. Yeah. Okay, let's just start clarifying. Okay, starting out with that, can't grip it, 9 of Pentacles. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do you have for that 9 of Pentacles? Clarification for the 9 of Pentacles. Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Ooh. 3 of Wands. So double confirmation for 3 of Wands. I like to see that. And this is clarifying that 9 of Pentacles. So yeah, you have taken action when action was required of you. But I'm not seeing it as hasty or without forethought. This is something that you had thought about in advance. And when the time arose to start acting upon it, you did. I feel like you listened to the divine, you listened to your instincts, you listened to your intuition, and you were like, now is the best time to get started on this. And you took advantage of that, and that like is so beautiful and great. And that's why you're getting gifted with this abundance and independence and security, stability in your life. Bottom of the deck is the 6 of Wands. So yeah, your inner child is beyond in awe of you, you know? Like they are in awe of you and your accomplishments. I feel like people also externally now see your value. And maybe you didn't feel that so much when you were a child. Maybe you didn't feel that as you were developing into an adult. But it's almost like you and the divine maybe believed in yourself when nobody else did, and as a result, people are finally seeing your worth. But I feel like it's like your inner child is trying to say like you were always worthy of that. Yeah. Like you were always worthy of that. It's just like finally the physical is catching up with the internal, you know? Ooh, okay. I was gonna ask the cards to see if we had any more clarifications for that 9 of Pentacles, and the High Priestess came out. So I think I was spot on before when I said that you have like some sort of psychic abilities, a very heightened sense of intuition, a connection to the divine. There's something about being secretive or mysterious. Maybe I'll clarify this one because there's something about what is hidden or maybe you're mysterious about something. You keep something out of sight. It could be your intuition, your psychic abilities that you don't really reveal to others. But I almost feel like that's kind of like, I don't know, people can feel that. So I don't know why you would hide it, because I feel like it's something that you can't really hide. So I'm almost getting, because this is clarifying the 9 of Pentacles, so I'm almost wondering if like when it comes to your abundance, you may be a little bit more secretive about it or hide it to a degree, or you know, maybe not even bring it up, maybe not even mention it because you kind of just want to keep it to yourself. And maybe that's the best way to go. That could be like what you're being called to do through your intuition, through the divine. So, yeah, maybe that's what's best for you. Anything else for that 9 of Pentacles, please, and thank you, Spirit. So, we received the 2 of Wands and the Hermit card. Bottom of the deck now is 2 of Swords. There is a lot of swords action happening. And, yeah, kind of a bit of wand action too. Could be related to fire signs, air signs, not necessarily. You may you may also just be a person that's very passionate and overthinks. It's interesting that the Three of Wands came out and now the Two of Wands, because I feel like maybe you felt that you went backwards at one point in your life, or maybe multiple points in your life you felt like you were going backwards instead of forwards, and it like made you feel like this sense of being lost and needing to redirect your energy. But I feel like that was all part of the plan here with the Hermit card. Anything that felt like you were going backwards, like in your own development and forward movement, you know, trying to change, evolve, and grow, it was all part of the plan. Like maybe there was something that you needed to revisit from your past in order to heal and move on. But it was all part of this. You gained this spiritual enlightenment and wisdom. So that could be a message for you as well. Like maybe you felt for a period of time that you were not making any progress and maybe even losing progress. But I feel like your inner child definitely wants you to know that it was all part of the plan, you know? It was what was best for you, to learn the most lessons, to gain the most knowledge. Because it's like something about your experiences helps you become wiser, because you've experienced so much. I think it helps you be more relatable to more people, because you have an extensive you know, past of experiences. But yeah, it's like you gained this wisdom through something that made you feel like you were going backwards. And it's like, now that that happened, I feel like that phase is over, and now you're going to start going forwards again. Because you gained this wisdom, this enlightenment. And I feel like your enlightenment is somewhat connected to this prosperity, abundance that's coming into your life. Yeah, you're incredibly wise and incredibly spiritual. And those, I think, are good qualities for you to have. I'm also kind of getting the message that maybe you don't reveal your wisdom all at once. Maybe it's something that, I don't think you hide it necessarily. I think it's more just like, I don't know, maybe you're humble. You know, maybe you don't feel like to feel like a know-it-all, or somebody that just bombards other people with information. Maybe you wait for people to ask you for advice. Maybe you wait for people to approach you to share your wisdom with them. Yeah, it's like a hidden gem within you. Maybe not everybody sees that wisdom, but I feel like a good amount of people do, especially when they interact with you or have a conversation with you. Yeah. Let's go on to clarify this Hanged Man. Oh, bottom of the deck being the Two of Swords. Yes, I feel like this goes back to that that like feeling like you're going backwards in your progress. I feel like that's just like that mental confusion here. Like, am I actually moving forward? Am I going backward? Like, what is happening? But I feel like your inner child is just here to say, like, it was all part of the plan, you know? And I feel like you blindly trusted the process, and that helped you. Because maybe something in your intuition, maybe a message from the divine told you that it was going to be okay. Yeah. Okay, let's clarify that Hanged Man, please, and thank you. What do you have for that Hanged Man, please, and thank you, Spirit? Ooh, interesting. Four of Swords. Which is interesting because, as I said earlier, we got the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. So double confirmation for Four of Swords. What was I saying earlier about that? Oh, yes, you need to rest. And I'm also getting that this spiritual awakening that you had that changed your perspective of like life, I feel like it was a very dramatic sort of like shift. I feel like that came to you as a result of you taking better care of yourself or focusing more on yourself in some way. And you gained not only knowledge, but some sort of like abundance in general. And also I feel like the Four of Swords, that energy of rest, self-care is the key. Whenever you're feeling stuck in life, I feel like your inner child's saying to rest, to take care of yourself, especially when you don't know where you're going or what's going to happen next or all those types of things, like the little details that we all worry about and overthink. It's like, take care of you, meditate, maybe even, pray or, meditate and talk with the divine, and it seems like that could be very helpful for you. And that will just only help you evolve, grow, forwardly progress, even if it's not physically, Yeah, and I'm almost getting a message there about like maybe sometimes you focus too much on the physical, and like when you're not seeing physical results of things, you give up or you feel like giving up or, you feel like things are hopeless, but it's like trust in what is not physical, the things that you can't see, because you're making so much more progress internally than you think that you are. Bottom of the deck being Page of Pentacles. Your inner child wants you to have fun physically, and I'm getting more so like playing. I feel like that would be really good for you, and it doesn't have to be like straight up like hide and go seek with friends or anything like that, but like moving your body I feel like is going to be very beneficial for you. Maybe learning a new sport, maybe I feel like, yeah, it's something that needs your body to be moving in some way. So maybe even if it's like, maybe if you're not somebody that can, exercise extremely, you may be starting to take walks or something. There's something here about like your physical body, and I feel like it's going to be more fun if friends are involved. So like, walking with friends, or playing sports with friends, or playing other types of games with friends, like something that's physical and like I feel like gets you out of your mind and gets you in the 3D is going to be very beneficial for you, and it will feed your inner child, I feel. Yeah, and a lot of growth will come as a result of that as well. So like when you leave this mode of the Four of Swords, of resting, relaxing, taking care of yourself, have some fun, do something fun with your body, go and move it and have fun. Maybe dancing as well. Dancing's another one, we can have so much fun, and you don't even have to involve anyone in that. You can just dance in your kitchen to your favorite song. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I feel like that's going to be very important and healthy and good for you. And I feel like your inner child is craving that during this time. Okay. Anything else for that Hanged Man? Please make the Spirit. King of Wands. And since this is specifically inner child messages, I want to say that this is showing how much of a boss you have become in your own life. And your inner child is just like, you're so powerful, and maybe you're finally unlocking this acknowledgement of your own power. Also, like, I'm getting very much like death and rebirth, renewal energy sort of thing, where it's like, I feel like you've had a lot of like, yeah, within your one lifetime, you've had so many lifetimes, I feel like, You've had so many life experiences, so many different chapters, so many different books. Like, I feel like it's like a whole collection of books, really, that is your life, And like, I feel like that's kind of like your superpower, is like being like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Like, that's your superpower. And I feel like your inner child wants you to know that like no matter what happens in your life, you can always start over. You can always begin again. And that's like your power. I don't know how to explain that. That's like your superpower. Like regeneration, rebirth, renewal. And maybe you don't realize that, or maybe like that's something that you don't think about a lot, but yeah, it's like a superpower, because not everybody can go through those types of changes without it affecting them very dramatically, you know? But it's like that's your superpower. I don't know how else to explain it. And you're just so powerful. You're taking the action that you need to with that King of Wands. You know what you want and you go for it now. Maybe that was something that you didn't do in the past. And your inner child sees that and loves that about you. Like, I don't know why. I'm getting like this image of like it reminds me of a episode of Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy like is like thinking about like what he would be like if he was an adult, and then he like pictures himself like being super handsome, riding a convertible or something, and you know, like being like a ladies' man or whatever. And like I feel like that's kind of like what your inner child sees you as, is like, wow, this person is so cool. This person is so awesome, you know? Like I feel like you're kind of like your own hero, like your inner child's own hero, like a superhero. Like you're exactly who they wanted to be, you know? Maybe they didn't even realize it at the time, but it's like now that they see you as you are, it's like, I can't believe that's me, you know? Like I can't believe I've come so far. I can't believe that I have gone through all of that and kept going. I can't believe that I'm now taking control of my life and doing the things that I want to do. And yeah, it's just like so strong and powerful and beautiful. And it all comes as a result of that spiritual awakening that you had, that shift in perspectives of life. It really like dramatically changed your mindset, dramatically changed the way you look at the world, the way that you go about things even. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups. There's like a big emphasis on friendship. I feel like, okay, I'm getting a specific message. So when you were a child, maybe you had a hard time making friends. And I feel like maybe your life is starting to open up to more social interactions, or maybe that's what your inner child wants you to do. Start opening up more, maybe start building a community, maybe reconnecting with friends. Actually, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about with the like moving your body and stuff. Like maybe that's the message here, is like reconnect with friends and go out dancing, or go play some games like soccer or something. I don't know. Like, you know, go outside, move your body, have fun, take a walk with your friends even. Like there's something about connecting with friends and like having those special, and if you have friends right now in your life, I feel like they're very good friends, very stable friends, the kinds of friends that are going to last a long time. Not because you feel external pressure about like, oh, I have to stay friends with this person, but rather I want to stay friends with this person. And yeah, like people that actually see you for you and love that about you, you know? So yeah, there could be something about like reconnecting with friends in a way that's fun and energetic and moves your body in some way. Maybe even going swimming or hanging out by a river, like something like that could be good for you as well. Like nature seems to be involved in that process. Okay, let's move on to the Six of Swords. Please and thank you, Spirit. Holy moly. Okay. That's way too many. Okay. Oh my goodness, no. Come on. I'm struggling. Okay, those I'm not gonna take because those are just falling out. Okay. Okay. So, first card that came out, Justice. This is clarifying that Six of Swords. So yeah, if you didn't experience external justice, I feel like you created justice for yourself. I feel like this sense of like you are finally giving yourself what you've always craved from other people. And it balances those scales. And it makes your mind much more clearer, you know? And maybe you can see things much more clearer now too. Maybe you're even reflecting on the past and you're kind of realizing like how everything kind of built up to this very moment. You know, when you're looking back and you're like, wow, I kind of did that, didn't I? And you created this sense of balance and justice, truly, like justice. Yeah, like there's such a strength about you here. It's like you provide now the stuff that you always craved from other people, and maybe that craving from like that craving for something outside of yourself maybe led you down some dark paths. But it's like you're correcting that, you know? You're like making it much more healthier, much more positive. Yeah. 10 of Wands. I'm almost getting with this 10 of Wands that maybe you've seen where you have been heavily burdened. And I feel like it has to do with maybe your love life a little bit. Because the Wands deal with passion, right? So I almost feel like, yeah, it's like that seeking something outside of yourself. I think it kind of led you down some dark paths when it came to relationships with others. And I feel like you probably carried a lot of like the burden of these relationships. You may have done most of the work in these relationships. I feel like it's very much one-sided relationships that you have been in. And then we have the Knight of Cups and the King of Swords. I almost feel like this combination is telling me that you're still open to love, even though you have had a rough go of it with your past romantic experiences. You know, being the one that carries the burden, being the person that, you know, is putting in all the effort, you know? But it's like, you are still open to it, but you have boundaries with this King of Swords showing up. You're no longer, and like, I don't know exactly how to word this, because like I don't see you as cold or cut off from your emotions. I don't see that at all. I feel like it's mostly like you're still emotional, you're still soft, you're still, you know, you, but you have like this this shield almost up in front of you now, and you have like this. It really does feel like a sword that you just like holds in front of you, and it's like you, I don't know, swing it back and forth like a windshield wiper, and it's like, you know, protecting you somehow. I don't know. It's like just what's coming into my mind. But yeah, it's like you're protected by yourself now. And maybe you hadn't been that way in the past or something. Or maybe you were so much involved with your emotions that you may have let a lot of things slide, but no longer. You're not doing that anymore. Yeah. Like, even though you're still open to love, you're not gonna be a fool. You're not gonna be just like loving anybody. And you're not gonna just let anybody love you. You know, it's like you have more standards than you did in the past now. And I feel like that's something that your inner child loves about you as well. The fact that you saw where these issues were like playing into things, like the baggage, the mental, you know, thoughts and stuff that held you back and pulled you down. It's like you realized those and you actively corrected them without hardening yourself. And I feel like something about that is very key and very emphasized. Yes, it's like you gained this sense of maturity. But like you still have your, like, I feel like you're actually still pretty close with your inner child, and maybe you're kind of like gaining that connection back with your inner child, because it's like you're still soft, you're still kind, you're still warm and inviting, but you're not stupid, you know? You have boundaries, you have standards, and you have so much knowledge now as well. And you just have a clarity of mind, a clarity of like being able to see things from a bigger perspective. Again, that kind of goes back to the hanged man that we had earlier. You just have this wisdom about you, this ability to protect yourself that maybe you didn't have before. And maybe some of that is also the divine protecting you as well. Maybe giving you downloads of like who you need to protect yourself around and who you can let your guard down around, you know? So definitely trust that intuition, because I feel like that is never going to lead you the wrong way. And then that kind of goes with this. At the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords. So yeah, you may have experienced a lot of people in your past that were sneaky, that were not treating you right, that were trying to get away with things. I almost get, like, if we go back to that 10 of Wands, that burden feeling in relationships, I almost feel like you dated people that were like just wanting to see how much baggage you were willing to take on, or like how much effort could they avoid doing, and kind of put it on you to pick up that slack, you know? And so it's like, you've realized this now. You've looked back on your past and you've seen those sneaky characters. And you've seen the places in which you need to improve. And I feel like you're so aware of this now that it's like, yeah, you're just like aware of this now, and you're like, I'm not going to let myself get back into that sort of situation. I know what I'm worth, and I know that I am worth way more than that, you know? Also, the polka dotted shirt that this guy's wearing, it indicates like a need to kind of loosen up, have some fun, kind of not take things so seriously. So that could also be something that your inner child is calling you to do right now. Have some fun, you know? And this doesn't even have to be physical. This one can be any type of fun. Playing a board game, watching a childhood like favorite movie or show or something nostalgic, something that gets you like feeling like a kid again. Yeah, your inner child probably wants that. I feel also maybe like, although you are still in touch with your inner child and you're soft and you're kind and warm, I almost feel like you need to take some more time to loosen up and have a little bit of fun. I feel like maybe you see things a little bit too seriously right now, and maybe that's because you're worried about things, maybe that's because of like external things that are happening, but I feel like your inner child definitely wants you to have fun. And I feel like that could be what the divine is calling you to do as well during this time. It's just to do things that feel fun, things that help you feel alive, things that feed you and your inner child, you know, make you feel happy, make you feel that sense of like, you know, like when you're like a little kid, I feel like the world seems so much bigger and expansive and full of mystery, and I feel like you should go for things that make you feel that way. That sense of like, wow, the world is so big and I haven't experienced all of it yet. You know, that feeling of like, my story isn't finished, or like that feeling of like, I don't know, for an example, maybe you start researching different cultures around the world, and you're like, oh my gosh, isn't that amazing that this world is so big and there's so many different cultures that you can, you know, that you can visit or be a part of, or, you know, you can research them and learn even more information. And it's like, wow, like that's amazing that the world is so full and there's so many more experiences to take place if I choose them to take place, you know? And so it like definitely feed that like sense of like excitement, hope. It's like a mixture of those two things, like excitement and hope. Like I'm also getting, so when I personally was a kid, I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, those movies. And I love the idea of like the world not being explored, which that's like a whole thing that's like not accurate perception, but then I started to realize, oh wait, the world has already been explored, and there's no like undiscovered islands, and there's no like, you know, I don't know, like there's nothing like that, like like the Pirates of the Caribbean. At the same time, you can shift your perspective about that and be like, wow, there are so many places around the world that have been discovered, that, you know, have all these different cultures and backgrounds and all of these beautiful like things that we can explore, that we can discover for the first time, that we can learn about, that we can involve ourselves in. So it's like, yeah, like even though it's not exactly how I had it in mind when I was a child, redirecting it to be more positive can be very encouraging for that inner child, you know? Like, sure, maybe everything's been discovered, but like, what about those cultures that are like completely different from our own, and like how we can, you know, explore those and see that the world truly is quite endless, especially when it comes to information, learning new things. So yeah, you may be called to like kind of like something about the world, I feel like specifically. Something about like maybe learning about a new culture, maybe learning a different language. There could be something there for you that would help feed your inner child and kind of like feed that like fantastical kind of mindset, you know? Okay, let's move on to this Ten of Swords. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for that Ten of Swords? Please and thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Oh my. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh. What the heck, dude? I couldn't have asked for a better freaking clarification. So the Ten of Swords, which is a really sad, depressing card, especially in this deck. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for this little ox. Or buffalo. Probably a buffalo. Ugh, whatever it is, I feel so bad. Anyways, Ace of Pentacles, followed by the Ten of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Six of Pentacles. So like, if you're not believing that success is part of your destiny, I feel like this is screaming at you to tell you that you are destined for success in this lifetime, whether you see it or not, whether you believe it or not, it's coming, you know? Like, this is beautiful, especially because it's clarifying that Ten of Swords. All the pain in your life, you've somehow channeled it into a new beginning for yourself. You started again, like again, that image of the phoenix rising from the ashes. You have this superpower of rebirth, renewal, regeneration. And it's like, you started something. You started something, and it started with just a small seed. And then it grew into a huge tree that you are able to like, picture it as a fruit tree, you know? And now you have all this fruit, you know, because you trusted in the process. You trusted that this little seed was gonna one day build up to this tree and give you like pears or whatever it is. I don't know. And so it's like, you get to harvest that, and it's all thanks to you. It's all because you trusted in the process. It's all because you acted upon the ideas that you got or the messages you got from the divine. You followed that, and it's like leading to success for you. Like major success. This is the Ten of Pentacles. You can't get any higher than that. Unless you're the King of Pentacles, that is. But yeah, like King of Pentacles. Oh, also I'm seeing, at first we did get like more like feminine energy with that like High Priestess, like intuition sort of side of things, but you're getting a lot of masculine energy now and a lot of kings. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Magician showed up, because this is showing me that you have mastered these areas of your life. I wouldn't even be surprised if the King of Cups came out for this reading as well, because I see you. You've mastered the wands, your passions, the things that drive you. You've mastered the things that you think about, your ideas, the things that keep you, what's the word? Like mentally stimulate you, you know? The things that you're interested in, the things that you want to explore, those types of things. Like you've mastered that area. Also communication could be a part of that as well. And then like the King of Pentacles, you are developing such incredible stability and security within your life. Also, there's a great amount of maturity as well that is a part of that. And you're so skillful, and you're following your skills. You're doing the things that you're skillful at, that you're very good at. And it's like, yeah, keep doing that, because it's gonna pay off. You're gonna become the master of whatever it is that you are working on right now. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the King of Cups came out, or the Magician, because I feel like you're literally mastering every single element. That's wands, that's swords, that's pentacles, that's cups, you know? And then when you have mastered all of those, you become the Magician, right? You're a powerful manifester. And I feel like, honestly, that's probably like your, like the mode that you're probably currently in, or you will be very soon, is master manifester. And your inner child sees all of this. Your inner child is sitting in the background watching all of this take place. And you're literally like your inner child's hero. I'm not even kidding. I literally cannot kid you with, like, just even look at this combination and tell me that this doesn't feel powerful as hell. We got the King of Wands, the King of Swords, the King of Pentacles. This is all you. This is how powerful you are. And I hope that you know and you feel that, you know, like that you are undefeatable. Is that the word, or is it indefeatable? Whatever. You know, you cannot be defeated, regardless of what happens. And I feel like you've gone through a lot. I think a lot has happened, to be honest. But you do not let it destroy you. You let it, oh my gosh. I just got the most beautiful like metaphor, but image of this metaphor in my mind. Your tears watered the soil of these seeds that you planted. And that's like so freaking powerful. Like, you experience this pain and you let those tears, that sadness, water those seeds. And as a result, your tree grew into all of this wonderful abundance and success. And you mastered it. You truly did. You mastered those emotions. You mastered that process. Yeah, like it's like it just keeps telling me again and again, like you are so incredibly powerful for the way that you can regenerate yourself. And not everybody can do that. Gorgeous energy. With the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Honestly, this one might be something that you may not like as much of a message, but I think this one's saying maybe you're a little too much of a giver, and not to say that you should stop giving, because I think that that is part of like what is causing your abundance and like all of this good stuff to come into your life. So don't stop giving to others, of course, but allow people to give back to you. That seems very emphasized with this card. Like, allow yourself to receive. And maybe that also comes with love as well, especially because of that past relationship kind of message I got. Allow yourself to be in the receiving mode. Because I feel like so often you give, and don't receive anything back. And in some situations that's okay. Like, for instance, like when you care for a child, they can't really give you anything back, if you're taking care of them. But it's like, yeah, allow others to give to you, because maybe you're also one of those people that is kind of humble and you're like, oh, I can't take that from you, thank you, but I can't, and it's like, no, take it, whatever it is that somebody is offering to you, if it's information, if it's knowledge, if it's wisdom, if it's something physical, like, accept that, because it's only going to help feed you, help you grow, help you expand. And again, there's a balancing of the scales here. So it's like, yes, I feel like you may have been imbalanced when it came to giving. And maybe part of that had to do with a wounded inner child. Maybe you grew up in a situation where you felt like you had to give all the time and that you couldn't expect anything in return, that you couldn't ask for anything in return. And it's like, now your inner child is saying, it's okay to receive. And I want you to receive. Also give some of that love to yourself again. Like, that's also a message. Okay. But yeah, make sure you're giving some of that back to yourself. Don't just give to others, but give back to yourself as well. Which honestly, I feel like you're on that path anyways, but just a reminder, take care of yourself. Okay, let's clarify this Three of Wands, please and thank you. Yeah. What do you have for this Three of Wands, please and thank you? Clarification for the Three of Wands, please and thank you, Spirit. Let's see. What else could I Three of Wands, please and thank you, Spirit. This is quite beautiful, oh my gosh. Okay. So, first few cards that came out, clarifying that Three of Wands, Five of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. There's more that came out, but I think these ones are meant to be read together. Honestly, these feel like obstacles that you overcame in order to act on the things that you're passionate about, in order to act upon the things that are like meant for you, you know, that you felt a calling towards. It's like you had a lot of internal conflict and maybe even external conflict. Maybe people are trying to, try to get you off the path that you were determined to go down. But I also feel like this is internal conflict as well. Like maybe you let those people kind of seep into your brain a little bit, which it's not your fault, it happens to all of us, you know? But maybe you started to let those thoughts kind of get to you, or those opinions of others, and like cause this internal conflict, right? And it's like, that's, most of the time that internal conflict is enough to stop a lot of people from pursuing things, right? And then it's like the Four of Pentacles. This kind of is screaming to me, well, a lack mindset could be definitely happening there. So maybe you had to counteract a lack mindset. Maybe you were born and raised in a lack mindset and you had to actively rewire your brain to think differently about the way that you thought about things and what you have, what you don't have. I also get like holding on, like clinging on to the comfort of standing still. Because a lot of the times, no matter how uncomfortable it is in the reality, we can convince ourselves that, oh, it's not that bad. I can deal with this a little bit longer. I can keep going. But it's like maybe the universe is saying it's your time to move out of that period of stillness, that period of staying sort of stagnant and not moving. I feel like, yeah, that feels like a big message there. Is like you realize these parts about yourself that were like holding you back, and you actively like chose to change them. The Two of Pentacles. I feel like too, yeah, like when it comes to your stability, your sense of stability within yourself, within your life, like that's a whole nother thing too. It's like when we go for our passions, the things that we're passionate about, the things that we want to pursue, the things that we're called to pursue, it can lead to a lot of imbalance in the physical reality sometimes. And also just mental imbalance, emotional imbalance, it can cause a lot of things when we do that kind of stuff, because it's not the day-to-day thing, right? It's not reliable like a schedule, or it's not, how do I word this? It's just so scary when we start something new and it's unknown territory, right? And so we're like, I like the stability I'm feeling right here, right now, while I'm just like standing still, not growing, not learning, but I feel comfortable. This is more so of like a metaphor, but like say all of my chairs in my home have spikes on them. They're very uncomfortable, right? And the spikes on them, I'm just like, yeah, that's just how my chairs are, Sure, it sucks to sit in them, but they're all I have, and, I don't really feel the need to go out there and buy different chairs because these are the ones I've always had, and I've kind of gotten used to how it feels to have spikes in my butt, Just, I know this is a weird example, but it's like, it's so funny sometimes. We can convince ourselves so much that our reality is comfortable, even when it's not, even when it's something that feels so wrong. We can convince ourselves, like, this is fine, this is okay, I'm not gonna try and improve the situation because I can tolerate it. And it's like, but are you happy though? Is the reality of it comfortable? Is it good for you? Is it, there's so many things to consider. And our ego kind of gets in there and is like, hey, you're fine. You don't need to improve yourself. This is fine. You don't have to get new chairs. You're fine with the spikes. You've gotten used to the spikes. It's all good. Like, you may even convince yourself, like, oh, you don't want comfortable chairs because you've gotten so used to the spikes. Like, what? Like, you'll miss the spikes if you get a comfortable chair. It's like, we kind of like, we'll do like these mental gymnastics to sort of justify our current situations, even if they are not serving us, even if they're actively hurting us. We will convince ourselves that it's okay. I don't need to move forward. I don't need to try something else. I don't need to pursue my dreams because I'm fine in this moment, even if you're not, So yeah, that's like all of those obstacles that you were experiencing, and maybe those held you back for a period of time from acting upon these things that you want to pursue, the things that you're passionate about, the things that, give you, I'm getting the song Lust for Life by Lana Del Rey. But yeah, it's like the things that give you a lust for life, the things that make life worth living. And a lot of the times, those come with uncertainties, those areas of life that we are being pulled towards. Like, we don't know if things are going to be okay if we pursue our passions or our paths that we're, trying to go down. We don't know if it's going to be okay. We don't know if Spirit's going to catch us. We don't know if Spirit has our back. Yeah, and so like these obstacles probably held you back for a period of time because like those all feel like really real reasons why not to pursue that thing, But then we got the Death card, baby. Major transformation here. And again, it's all about that it's all about that renewal energy, that rebirth process, that regeneration process. That is your superpower. That's you, baby. You're not afraid of change. And maybe you were at one point in your life, but not anymore. Because you realize, and I think it probably is through the physical proof that is starting to come into your life now to kind of like validate that experience. It's like you're starting to see like, you're gaining that wisdom of like, if I didn't go through this transformation process, if I didn't change my mindsets, if I didn't try to rewire my brain, I would have been stuck back there. And who I was back there, I wasn't happy with. I wasn't happy back there. But now I'm starting to find that happiness within myself. I'm starting to find that happiness within my life. And it's because I did not let these obstacles stop me. I did not let these things hold me back. I let them change me for the better. Yeah, it's almost like, sometimes you've got to lean into the change, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels scary. Because oftentimes on the other side of that is what you truly want, is like the goals, ambitions, all the things that you truly want are on that other side of that change. And so like the change is such an important process in your journey. And yeah, your inner child sees that you've done all of this, Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like there is a balancing of your masculine and your feminine energies. They work together. And that, I love that energy, because I say a billion times that we all have feminine and masculine energies within us. And when we are when those are balanced, I feel like that's when the most good can come into our lives, because we're acting when we need to, but we're also sitting back when we need to. We are going for our passions, but we know when to rest and care for ourselves. We're still listening to our intuition, but also listening to what is rational, realistic. And it's like, it's so good to have those two balanced, right? And so it's like, as a result of that, it just brings you so much abundance. The Six of Pentacles ended up coming out. Yeah. And yeah, it's like, this even is showing, like, because the feminine energy, right, with the Queen of Pentacles, that feminine energy is about being in receiving mode, right? Allowing things to come to you. And maybe that was not natural for you. Maybe you felt like that was weird. Maybe you weren't used to sitting back and letting things come to you. But it's like, when you do, like, tap into that femininity, you tap into that feminine energy within yourself, and you allow things to give to you. And it's like, this transformation, this change led you to get more in touch with your feminine energy. Maybe your intuition, maybe your connection to the divine. And then as a result, you're given the things that you need, the things that help you grow, the things that are important to you, that can help lead to your stability and your growth and your success. And again, the balancing of the scales here is very important. You balance those scales for yourself. And I got that same message earlier with that Justice card. You did this for yourself, and I feel like that needs to be heavily emphasized here. Nobody else did this work for you. Nobody else did all of this work for you. Like, you didn't have anybody else do your homework, let's just say, you know? You did it for yourself because you realized it's what was necessary for your growth, for the places that you wanted to go to, that you want to go to, that you want to succeed at. It's like all part of this process. It's so beautiful. Bottom of the deck energy, 10 of Cups. Like, can I say anything more about this card? Especially when it comes to your inner child. Your inner child loves you so much. And maybe you're starting to feel that too, and maybe you're starting to feel a sense of like, of wholeness, of feeling complete on your own that maybe you didn't feel for a long time in your life. And it's like, maybe that's something that you're coming into now, where you realize, oh wait, I have it all. I was never lacking. I was never missing something. I was never missing a part of myself. It's always been here all along. I have everything in me that it takes to succeed, to find this ultimate happiness. You can achieve anything you want just by believing in yourself, just by loving yourself, just by feeding yourself. These are all things that that can help you achieve this ultimate happiness. And there's just so much love with this card as well. So much love. Your inner child sees you and loves you so incredibly much. Oh, beautiful, beautiful energy. I love this. Okay, let's go on to this Eight of Pentacles. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do you have for that Eight of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for that Eight of Pentacles? Please and thank you. Please and thank you, Spirit. What else for this Eight of Pentacles? Thank you. Anything else? Okay, anything else for that? Anything else for that? Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, clarifying the Eight of Pentacles, we received Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, and Temperance, as well as the Seven of Swords, Eight of Wands, and Judgment. Okay, so that's quite a bit, but I feel like it's telling me the story of you, right? Ooh. And okay, so this is an interesting download that I'm getting. So remember earlier how I said that you may have felt like you were going backward instead of forward in your journey? I'm getting like maybe this is something that you're feeling in the current moment as well. Because we got the Eight of Pentacles and then followed by the Seven of Pentacles. It seems like maybe there's a little bit of like what feels like backward motion or backward progression. But I don't think that's true. I don't think that is true. It's just like, yeah, it's what you see on the surface. And it's like there's so much, like, okay, even take this as like a metaphor for like something that's growing out of the earth, right? Like a bush or something, or, you know, crops. What you don't see is under the surface, there's all of these little roots and, you know, it's like sucking up the nutrients and it's like working so hard under there, right? You know, it's trying its best. You can't rush these types of things, right? You can't rush nature. And so you may have felt, you know, looking at the surface, maybe in the current moment you're not receiving that stability, that security that you want, that abundance that you want. And so on the surface you're just seeing nothing and you're like, oh no, like, am I messing up? Is there something else I need to work on? Is there something else I need to heal? You know, because I definitely feel like you're definitely that kind of personality or that person to be like always looking for your betterment and ways that you can improve yourself, which is beautiful, but sometimes not super necessary when you have developed so much, when you keep consistently learning, you know. And I feel like you're the kind of person that, like, when something comes up, like, okay, this is clearly an area that I need to work on, you're gonna do that. So it's like, don't pressure yourself so much to be like, I don't know what I need to heal, but apparently it's something, you know. And you can apply that to even relationships. Like, maybe you don't have any romantic relationships right now, and so you're thinking, oh no, I need to heal something because that must be why I don't have a partner. And it's like, not necessarily though. Maybe you have done all that healing. Maybe you have worked on yourself to the point where you are ready for a relationship. But it's just a matter of that person coming towards you. It's just a matter of the right people coming to you at the right time. And so trusting the process, I feel like, is a big part of this. And it's not always easy. I will totally validate that feeling. It is not easy to trust blindly into things that we don't have any physical validation about, you know? Because we are humans in a 3D reality, and we live in this 3D reality, and we focus so much on what is physical, what is visible, what is observable. Yeah, and I feel like it caused like this emotional pain, you know, because it's almost like anxiety, you know, waiting, like, or having hard times like sleeping, losing sleep about your, like, the things that make you anxious, the things that make your mind race. A lot of swords again, so I feel like, I guess it's not that many swords. Oh, 3 cards, yeah. So like there is a lot of swords energy in this one, so it's like, a lot of overthinking is something that probably plagues you to an extent. But I think it is just in your mind. I don't think that it's like, what is the reality of the situation? And also, like, as humans, we do not have a full picture of what is going on. We don't see what's happening in the background. We don't see what's like under the surface, you know? We can only see from our own perspective and our own opinions and the way that we were raised, the way that the information that we've gained throughout our lifetime. All of these play a part in our perspective and our view of things. So we don't always get a clear picture. We don't always see things as they truly are, but rather how they make us feel. And yeah, this overthinking, especially when it comes to negative thoughts about yourself, it's like really, it's hard, you know? It's hard to like deal with all of that. And maybe it's led you down some paths to like even self-sabotage. Just through your mind, your thoughts. Like outdated ideas about yourself, you know? Things that are not even true anymore, but you still believe them. It feels like all of that like really prevents you from seeing everything clearly. And then because that's followed by the Temperance card, I feel like you're shifting out of that. Because the Temperance card is all about taking one situation that is not ideal and turning it into one that is ideal. And I feel like that's kind of what you're realizing maybe, is that, you know, just because I don't see the results that I want right now doesn't mean that forward motion and progression is not happening. And just because I'm overthinking and, you know, I'm very anxious about these things and, you know, these are repetitive thoughts in my mind doesn't mean that they're true, you know? And so like there's like this healing that's taking place within you, within your mind, within your perspective of things. There's more enlightenment. Also, I'm getting more self-compassion. You know, maybe you're starting to be more compassionate with yourself. Maybe, especially on those days when, you know, we all have those days, right? Where we feel really crappy about ourselves, you know? And so it's like maybe you're gonna validate those feelings for yourself. Be like, you know, I'm sorry that you feel this way. You know, these are heavy feelings to feel. But like, let's, you know, either channel these feelings into something that is useful, like maybe art, maybe you have some sort of like type of art that you do that you can kind of like channel your feelings into, or, you know, just in general, you know, like you know, you're having a rough day, so you decide to have a movie night for yourself, you know, watch your favorite movies or eat your favorite food or something like that. And it's like, yeah, self-compassion seems to be part of what is healing this pain and this mental torment and this like impatience even. And I think it's coming through at like as divine enlightenment as well. And it's almost like maybe you're being reminded of how much you don't see. And maybe you're starting to see the bigger picture. Maybe you're starting to receive those divine downloads about like you are on the right path, even if you feel like you're lost, even if you feel like you're making backward progression, you're still like where you need to be and you're on the right path for yourself. And the divine probably is trying to encourage you to keep going, even though it's scary, even though you can't see how this is all going to end up. You know, you don't see the finish line yet, but it's there. And that could also be a message for you as well. Like if you're not feeling super self-compassionate, be more compassionate with yourself. You know, I used to struggle with self-compassion back in the day. And something that I heard that literally changed the way that I thought about myself was told to me by a counselor. And they said something along the lines of like, you know, I was listing all the reasons why I don't like myself, right? And then they were saying, is there somebody that you love very deeply? Is there somebody in your life that you're connected to? Maybe a younger sibling or a pet or a best friend, you know, whatever. And would you say these things to that person? And I was like, of course I wouldn't. You know, I love them. I would never say such things. And it's like, then why do you think it's okay to say those things to yourself day in and day out? And it like, I don't know what it was about that, but it really shook me. And I was just like, I can't believe I never really thought of it that way before. And so sometimes, especially if you're an empathetic person, which I feel like most of you are, yeah, when you're deeply empathetic and you feel more for other people than you do yourself, sometimes that's how it starts. You know, sometimes it can start as even picturing yourself outside of yourself, you know? Like, how would I treat myself if I was my younger sibling, you know? How would I treat myself if I was my best friend, you know? And it's like, I would treat them so much more kinder than if they were me, you know? And maybe that can also be a thing that kind of feeds back into your, like, inner child a little bit. Maybe, like, mentally picturing your inner child. You know, picture yourself as a child. You know, somebody that's defenseless, somebody that is in need of help, in need of love, in need of caring and compassion. Maybe that will be what helps you shift that mindset when it comes to self-compassion. Because I truly do believe that when you start to show yourself self-compassion, that is one of the things that means the world to yourself. And you don't even realize how much you're craving it until you start to act upon it. And start to say, like, I understand you're having a rough day. What can I do to help? You know? I understand that you're going through this really difficult time. Would you like to, watch your favorite movie? Like those tiny little things that we can communicate to ourselves, to remind ourselves that it's okay that we have these hard days. It's okay that, things are difficult and, that we're overthinking or things are not paying off in the way that we want. It's like, just like being compassionate with yourself as if it were somebody else, if that's what helps you, or if it were your inner child, your actual child self. And like all of those things that you craved as a child, you can give to yourself as an adult, as you are now, I feel like I keep like trailing off onto rambling, so I don't know how long this reading is. Sorry if it's like super long. Anyways, I'm almost done. We're good. Okay. With the 7 of Swords, after that Temperance card, followed by the 8 of Wands and the Judgment. It's interesting because I'm almost getting, I don't know, it's just an image in my mind, but it feels like the 7 of Swords could even be like your ego, because I mention all the time, our ego can play really funny tricks on us without us even realizing it. And like I said earlier about the spiky seats, or the spiky chair, our ego can tell us that we're comfortable with something even if we're not. And it's like, I feel like this like Temperance card is almost like a brick wall protecting yourself from the ways in which you have betrayed yourself, that you have not loved yourself completely, the ways in which you have let your thoughts defeat you or make you feel hopeless, or all of those things, but in the most loving way possible. We don't hate those parts of ourselves, right? We accept that they are in us, and we still say that part of me still deserves love. And honestly, most of the time, the way that most of the time when it comes to those like parts of ourselves that we're not proud of, that are not healthy and stuff, a lot of the times they come out as a result of us not loving ourselves enough, of us not showing enough love to those parts of us. And so it's almost like this gentle reminder here to like, I don't know, like to maybe acknowledge that those parts are still within you, and that's okay, as long as you don't let them run your whole life. Because we're all gonna have our down days. We're all gonna have those days where we're trying to like convince ourselves to do something that is more comfortable, even if it's not. Like our egos play like a big role, and we can never truly get rid of the ego, right? Because it's gonna play a part in everything we do, always. But we can try to like kind of quiet that voice by showing it love, by asking, what is this trying to tell me about how I treat myself? What is this trying to tell me about the ways in which I perceive who I am and what I'm doing, and all those types of things. Like, because yeah, our mind can play tricks on us. Our mind can play tricks on us, and so it's important to remind yourself that your highest self knows best. And I feel like sometimes it's a little harder to get in touch with that higher self version of ourselves. And so maybe that's when you start to, or when you should start to meditate and maybe pray or speak to the divine, or talk to your own intuition. Allow yourself some silence so that you can get those downloads, right? Where it's a little bit less in the ego, a little bit more removed from the ego. Yeah. And then it's like, especially when you come to terms with those parts of yourself and you accept them and love them, because I think that for some reason that's like giving me goosebumps, like loving those parts of yourself is as important as loving the kindness that you have, the beautiful heart that you have, the empathy that you have. Those parts of ourselves that are critical, those parts of ourselves that try to hold us back, those parts of us that try to keep us safe in these comfortable situations that are not truly comfortable. When we show those parts of us love, just as much love as we do at any other part of ourselves, then those parts of ourselves can feel seen. And maybe that's all they need. Maybe that's all they need. Maybe that's all they crave, is just to be seen by you without judgment. Maybe that can help silence those voices a little bit more, especially when they're trying to be super convincing, you know? And I feel like that's like a really good key, because then I see like this organization. You know, all of these wands are like so straight and organized looking. And so I feel like things will become more clear. This is also a card of communication. So it's like, yeah, like communicating within yourself even. Your mind becomes more clear. Maybe you become more focused. Maybe you see those parts of yourself that need that kindness. You see, and it's like through that process, it actively helps you go forward with yourself, with your life, with things that are good for you, the things that make you passionate, the things that give you that lust for life feeling. And then the judgment card following that. There's just so much in this reading about rebirth, renewal. Honestly, this feels like, although your inner child is obviously very proud of you, as I said before, the divine is super proud of you as well. Maybe you don't realize quite how much the divine is proud of you, but they are so proud of you. And I almost feel like maybe they're trying to give you signs about like how proud they are of you. I know that this is going to sound a little bit random and weird, but the other day I was eating green beans, and one of the green beans had the shape of a heart in it. And so I took a picture of that, and I kind of took it in that moment as a sign to just, you know, remind me that I'm loved and that I'm on the right path, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes, you know, our egos can be like, oh, that's not a sign, that's just a random occurrence, you know? And it's like, of course, it really depends on your perspective of those things, but why not? Why not trust that it's a message from the divine telling you that you're on the right path, that you're doing good, that they love you, and they're proud of you, you know? I'm also getting that something's being revealed here. Also, the imagery in the Temperance card and the Judgment card have very similar vibes. And so it's almost telling me that your guardian angels or your spirit team or your spirit guides, whatever you believe is supporting you and around you, protecting you, they are always there. And they see all of your hard work, and they see how much you're trying, and they're so proud of you. And they're always there to protect you. They're always there to give you comfort when you need it most. And I feel like that's a good reminder for you. And maybe this like reveals maybe through the process of accepting those, like, you know, more critical parts of ourselves, you realize like how much you needed to love those parts of yourself. Maybe you realize the extent of how those thoughts, feelings, and whatever have held you back for so long. And it's like, yeah, it's like this knowledge, this realization here that's being revealed to you of like maybe how worthy you are of love. Maybe how worthy you are of loving every single part of yourself, even the parts that we think are not so pretty. Because, oh, thank you, Spirit, that's a good one. So I just got the message with this one that there is no judgment when it comes to spirit. Absolutely none. I know that sounds weird because we live in a society where everybody judges everybody else for something, one thing or another. But when it comes to spirit, and your inner child as well, they will never judge you for anything. Anything. A lot of that feeling of being judged by spirit, a lot of that feeling of being judged by your inner child, that comes again from the ego. And that comes again from our fear as well. Our fear of being judged. The anticipation. Also our conscience. Yeah. You know, when we okay, for example, maybe you grew up in a household that, you know, maybe your parents didn't like you eating chocolate bars. And when you ate a chocolate bar, they would insult you for eating that chocolate bar. Like, oh, you're so fat, or, you know, oh, that's so unhealthy. How could you eat that chocolate bar, you know? And so you grow up living with all of that as like your backstory, right? And now you're kind of afraid of candy bars or chocolate bars or whatever I said. Even though there's nothing really bad in eating a chocolate bar. There's nothing objectively morally wrong or unethical about eating a candy bar. But now you feel this sense of guilt and shame that you can't shake off. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just ate another candy bar. I'm so awful and I hate myself. And you know, and it spirals because it's like based in that past trauma. And so it's like, you know, maybe we think that, oh, if I eat a candy bar, this, you know, the divine is going to judge me. My inner child is going to judge me. And it's like, no, they're not. You think that they are because that's based on your past experiences from others. But the reality is, spirit does not show any judgment for anything. And I feel like that's something that you need to remind yourself sometimes. And maybe to be less judgmental of yourself as well. And maybe realize that you're still that inner child. You're still learning, you're still growing, you're still evolving. You don't know everything yet. You don't know how to be the perfect person because being a perfect person doesn't exist. And there's still so much to learn. There's still so much room to grow. And so just have some empathy, some compassion for yourself. And don't judge those parts of yourself that may struggle from time to time, that may have a hard time learning something new for the first time. You know, all of those things that we think I should be better at, or, you know, I should be further along by this point. Those are just what our egos tell us, you know, based on our past experiences. Sometimes when we take a step back and really look at things, we can be like, oh, I guess candy bars are not that bad to have. Like, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world if I have a chocolate bar or whatever. So yeah, I feel like that's something that could be like a possible sort of message there as well. But yeah, I definitely feel like this sense of like your inner child does not judge you. Even if you feel like you let them down, even if you feel like you thought you would be further along by now, like maybe you think back to your childhood and you're like, oh, I'm not an astronaut like I wanted to be when I was a kid, so I'm a failure. And it's like, but you don't like acknowledge the fact that you went through a whole bunch of stuff and kept going, and now you're like on the path to your true purpose. It's like, you know, like sometimes our egos play funny tricks like that, you know? Bottom of the deck being the Knight of Swords, I honestly feel like the divine or your inner child like has this message for you about like, I feel like, yeah, you could definitely be seeing signs and synchronicities right now, because I feel like the divine and maybe your inner child is trying to let you know that they see you, that they love you, that they don't judge you, that like you're on the right path, they're so proud of you. And maybe this also comes in the form of like clarity of mind. Maybe taking a step back, seeing the bigger picture helps you think clearer. Yeah, there's like clarity of mind that comes with this. Also, affirmations could be very, like positive affirmations could be very helpful for you, because I'm getting like a message to yourself that will be encouraging, a message to yourself that will help you keep going down this path that you belong going down, you know, or that's your destiny. Yeah. And I think, yeah, maybe there is something that you need to tell yourself that you desperately need to hear. So maybe think about, like, what is it that you wanted most when you were a kid? Was it love? Was it attention? Was it the ability to express yourself creatively without judgment? Yeah, maybe like do a little bit of introspection, reflection there, and see like what does my inner child want to hear most right now in this moment? Because it seems like that's going to be very healing for you and very beneficial to you. Okay, so that's the reading. I truly hope that that you liked this, and if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective. Because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to be notified for upcoming videos, be sure to click that bell icon so that YouTube actually notifies you. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.